everyone, in today's video I want to show you an amazing method that has allowed me to drastically expand my melodic vocabulary in a very personal way. Because here's the thing, it's not only about developing your technique and enhancing your musical language and transcribing hundreds of solos, it's also about understanding what resonates with you so that you can actually implement the sounds that you like into your playing. That way, you're just gonna sound like yourself. And when you improvising and you start making this a natural way for you, you will start producing phrases that sound very unique to you with things that can be very basic as a simple inversion. But when you start manipulating things in specific ways and really taking the time to understand and explore sounds with the chords or with any tune, which is what I'm going to show you today, and then you learn how to implement that into your instrument, you're going to sound fantastic and like yourself. You don't even need the best technique. I feel it's a lot more important to sound more personal. In fact, if you look at the older jazz players, Coleman Hawkins, Ben Webster, Lester Young, they didn't even have the best technique, but they had their own language and their own sound. It was so particular. And this is something I want to teach you in this video, especially coming from my composer mindset, which is just take the time to sit down, put the chord progression of any tune that you want to sound good on or to get ideas over, and just take the time to write exercises. I have my other video where I show you how to write first inversion over all of the chords and naturally get a good sounding melodic shape for you to practice and extract melodies from the tune. You can do all sorts of things. But in today's video, I want to show you something that comes directly from my Jazz Improvisation Mastery System course. But this is just the surface of it, which is creating your own melodic cells. How do you do that? The best way to do that is to just grab the simple inversions and manipulate them. Now, what is a melodic cell? That's kind of a weird name. It's really a melodic shape, a short melodic shape, because a longer one would become a phrase. But it's just a short melodic phrase, a pattern that you can easily transpose and put on different places, right? A melodic cell, I like 4-note melodic cells. You can have 5, 6 notes. But 4-note melodic cells are great little cells that you can then transpose and repeat. And if you actually take the time to explore the sounds of the different chords, for example, a major 7 chord, a minor chord, a dominant chord, play around with the tensions and the inversions, you can start grabbing melodic cells that you personally like, that then you can work on transposing them over all the keys. This is what I started doing, was not only memorizing patterns and licks. Later on, I discovered it was much more effective to construct my own phrases and my patterns and then transpose them onto different places. So that's what a melodic cell is, okay? It can actually be anything you want. And today, we're gonna focus on a simple 4-note structure based on chord inversions, okay? Chord inversions are a magical way to extract melodic content from any chord, okay? And people, especially as a saxophone player, we focus so much on scales and we focus so much, and even when we do play the chord, we just play root position, which is the lamest one, right? When you do first inversion, second inversion, and then what I'm going to show you in a bit, start replacing chord tones with chord extensions, you're instantly going to get that beautiful, lush, jazzy sound, right? That would not only serve you for improvising, but this will be amazing for when you actually want to write music, compose, arrange, and even better when you just want to sit down and create an amazing solo for yourself. Listen, the best thing I've ever done for my improvement is to really take the time to sit down and write my solos, my phrases, because when you sit down, you have so much more time to really see in fact, there's a visual aspect to it. And if you see you're writing your solo, you're going to realize, oh my God, I'm repeating this too much, because you see it, right? Rather than just playing and repeating. And then you see, oh, I'm beginning too much on the downbeat, or I'm doing this too much. And then you consciously take the time to break things down, take different decisions, do octave splits, do this, apply things, because you have time. When you're improvising, it's real-time art. So there's no time. You need to mechanize and have things in your ears, and you need to have a good rhythmic language, and all of this needs to be all set. And this is why improvisers struggle so much and end up repeating the same phrases and the same patterns all over the place. All right, so for today's tune, we're gonna do Misty. Such a beautiful ballad. I decided I'm gonna show you how to do this over a jazz ballad, because it's slow and you actually have more time to really listen to the melodic shapes that you're selecting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply grab 4 melodic cells that I'm going to build from chords that already exist in the tune. I'm going to pick a major 7 chord, a minor chord, and in this case 2 dominants, just so that I can do little different things on each chord. And then I'm going to use those melodic cells and structures and I will just transpose them accordingly over the entire tune. Okay, so basically all my major 7 chords will be based on that melodic cell, and all my minor chords, I'm going to include that melodic cell. I'm going to show you the melodic cells right now. And then for the dominants, I'm going to pick between the 2 cells that I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is base it on a specific inversion. Okay, so when I actually go ahead and write the entire tune, I will pick, I will do more things. I will probably just also select some inversions and some connections. I'll do some things to actually almost create a solo out of it, but I will base it 85% on these melodic cells. And by the way, you can create way more. You can create like 8 melodic cells or more and use them as a template. This is a composition method called the sketch. Okay, sketching is amazing. When you're a composer, classical composers did this all the time. You had a sketch with specific melodic devices, maybe specific chords, melodic shapes, or even specific ostinatos that you might want to like later on quote. And instead of trying to look at your old score, you have a sketch, 1 pager, right, with all of these things. And later on, you can have sketches of rhythm, the rhythms that you want to repeat, melodic cells, tensions, all of it. Right now, it's just about the melodic cells, okay? So let's grab the first chord, F major 7. It's gonna be, we're gonna decide on a melodic cell based on a simple inversion, and that one, we're gonna throw it on the rest of the major 7 chords. And I might change the rhythm a little bit and do some subtle changes, but it will be based on that. So what I'm gonna grab is, it's gonna be first inversion. Here's my F major 7 for the tenor. That's the first inversion, right? So 3, 5, 7, 1. And now let's keep it simple. I'm just going to change the order of the last 2. It's a pretty nice sound. Okay, I love that. So that's going to be my template for all my major 7 chords. Okay, now let's pick a minor chord. How about we grab B flat minor 7? I'm going to use that as my template. Now I'll use first inversion again, but first inversion would be this. I'm going to replace the root for the 9th. So I'm going to grab that B flat and use a C instead. Pretty much sounds like a major 7 chord, right? But in the context, it's going to be this beautiful minor 7 chord with the 9th. Okay, great. I have 2 melodic cells there for major and for minor. Now for dominants, I want to add a lot of color on the dominant, so I'm going to pick 2 different ones. One with a lot of altered tensions, and the other one maybe with a combination or natural tension. And by the way, when you start playing around with tensions like I'm doing it here, I show you really how to do this on my jazz improvisation mastery system. This is just a quick look at it. But when you start manipulating tensions, you can have just the different cell, copy paste and have the equivalent cell with maybe the natural 9 or then the flat 9. You can really mess around with this. Okay, right now I'm just picking 2 that I like. Okay, so I'm gonna grab what's gonna be, let's grab the D7, which is one of the dominant scores that exists here. It's like the 5 of 2 in this case. And again, I'm gonna base it on first inversion just because it's a very effective inversion. Plain first inversion would be. Now, I'm gonna actually replace the root for the sharp 9 and the 5th for the flat 13, okay? So basically it's very simple. If you look at this, you just move them up diatonically, and then I'm gonna get that F natural and then that B flat. And it's gonna be this beautiful sharp 9 flat 13 chord. Melodically sounds like this. It's a beautiful sound. Check out, the only thing I did was grabbed first inversion and replaced some of the chord tones. This is why understanding the inversions is really important. The only thing I did is replace the root. So usually the root for some 9s could be the natural 9, could be the flat 9, or even the sharp 9, which is almost a third above the root, right? You can still do that. And then the 5th I replace it for the 13th. Now you get that beautiful structure. You've heard a lot of phrases that are based on that kind of thing, okay? I'm gonna grab C7, the actual dominant of the tune. And let's do, how about third inversion, right, with the 7. So it's like third inversion plain would be 7, 1, 3, 5. And what I'm gonna do here is replace the root for the flat 9, but check it out. I have the 5th on top. I'm gonna replace that 5th for the natural 13. Get this beautiful lush sound. If you know some harmony, you know how these chords create a specific sound and how you combining tensions in different ways create these different emotions, right? And for me, I love this flat 9 and natural 13 sounds like this. Such a beautiful sound, especially for ballads. Now, again, I do cover all of this in depth on my course, but I wanted to show you how you can apply this now over an entire tune and create a beautiful, very simple solo. But from here, you can enhance it. It's so much, like I did this in a few minutes. Like I literally wrote the solo in 15 minutes using this, and then what I can do next is copy, paste, and do another version and now start enhancing it. And all of a sudden, in maybe less than an hour, or maybe an hour, let's call it an hour, I can have a beautiful solo over Misty, one chorus. But just because if I do that, I'm gonna get so much better. And every time I do this, I get better ideas and more ideas and better ideas and more ideas. So I'm in love with this process. You know, I would do this as much as I would perform and play, just because I do that and I write it down, and when I come and play it, it's like already there. I love the writing process. It has helped me so much to be able to write my own exercises and my own solos. So now we have our 4 melodic scales. What I'm going to do is I'm going to write them on over Misty, okay? And I'm going to use very simple rhythms, mainly quarter notes, eighth notes. I'm going to find some resting points so that I'm not playing all the time. So you'll see a few long tones here and there, and just a few little scale passing tones to get to the melodic cells. And you might also see me doing the descending version of the cell and maybe adding a few other things, right? Regular inversions, and this. It's going to be 85% the melodic cells that I've just played that are right here. This is the sketch for my solo. I'm going to add some other things as well. And by the way, on your sketch, you can actually make your sketch more sophisticated, saying, I want this specific approach notes, this specific chromatics. You can make it very sophisticated. This is just a very simple template of the melodic cells that you can create based on chord inversions. Really curate your own sound. So here's an important thing. I personally love these melodic cells. Now, if you do this exercise, make sure that you take the time to break each chord. So what I would recommend is you look at whatever tune that you're doing and grab, so if it has a lot of major 7 chords, grab one of them and then grab one minor, whatever it has, and just do it for each quality chord and just find and figure out specific cell that you like. Mess around with the inversions, mess around with the tensions. That's a great way to do it. Of course, you can see there's another video I have about 2 chords, big results, which is my whole 2-chord method about really not even playing a tune, just grabbing 2 chords and really mastering them. I'm all about simplicity. So make sure to watch those. For this video, I wanted to go a little more out because a lot of you have been asking me about playing over entire tunes and how to get a good sound out of the entire tune. So this is a good way to start feeding your ears, not only your fingers, of beautiful, lush melodic cells that can become part of your vocabulary, but make sure that you deconstruct the chords in your own personal way. So even if you look at this, if you like my melodic cells, cool. Still go and figure out by yourself. I do this with every single coaching student. I want you to figure out what do you like. We all like different sounds. And if you're able to identify the sounds that you like from this early on, even as early as just 1 chord inversion, right? Oh, I like a lot of 3rd inversion. Great. So start playing around with 3rd inversion, change the octave, do this, manipulate it, and all of a sudden you create 4 little cells that you personally like. And if another student does it, he'll end up with different melodic cells, even with a basic chord inversion. What does that mean? Imagine that down the road, you can end up with your own personalized language. That's the goal here. So let's go, let's check out the tune. Check it out, here's my melodic cells. And I basically, like I mentioned, I grabbed the chords from the tune, just randomly a major 7 chord, so the first one. Then I grab B flat minor 7 because it does exist here. I'm going to use it as my template. D7, and then just 2 different dominants. You can do 8 measures, and you can actually do a much bigger palette of different melodic cells. I just picked 4, but you can do like 8 and put them in just to get more variation, right? I just did it with a few ones, right? Most of them based on 1st inversion. Now, here's the actual solo that I wrote using that. So, for instance, you can see the 1st chord, F major 7. I'm using basically this one. right? And then C minor 7, you can see I'm using this exact same formula, the one for minor chords. And then for the dominant, I'm just picking one, and I'm actually picking this one right here, the one with the flat 9 and the natural 13. So I literally place them there, and the only thing I'm taking care of is picking, varying the rhythms, right? So like here, if I have a lot of quarter notes, now I have a bunch of eighth notes, then I pause for a little bit. You need some pauses, so I didn't do anything here, just stayed on the ninth, right? Then little passing tones there, and again, I did the same shape, my minor shape, and then for the dominant, in this case, I did change the tensions a bit, so I did not include the flat 9 here, so you can totally just grab the same shape and alter the same tension or naturalize it, whatever. You can do all that kind of stuff. Then here I try to I didn't go too crazy on rhythm because it's a ballad. I just kept it simple. But of course, landing spot, you don't have to play eighth notes or quarter notes all the time. You can of course grab some of this and make two of them quarter notes and two of them eighth notes or 16th notes, as you can see me doing it here. For this one, I didn't have to play all the notes, just two notes of the chord. Then here I picked one of these guys again, right? And in this case, with the flat 13. So you can change things up a little bit, especially with the tensions. And then here, again, the shape on the minor. Here, I'm not really worrying about anything. I'm just landing there. And of course, I am including a few regular inversions and regular chord tones just to get by. You don't have to apply the melodic scale all over the place, but like 80% of it, 80% of the tune can be based on that, because what's going to happen is you're going to recognize the sound of it. And that's a beautiful part about it, that by attaching the few melodic cells from your sketch in the whole tune, you're going to start building your language by repetition in different contexts, right? That's a beautiful thing. For instance, here it's like, okay, I have the same chord as here, the same two chords, but let's just not do a bunch of eighth notes. So I just, put a little rest there, put 16th note instead of being do da do da do da do da. This one is one ba 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 ba. So you see this really right here are the same notes as that one, right? But completely different rhythmic structure. So that's the kind of thing that you can do, playing around with rhythm so that it doesn't sound like the same, a little triplets here and there. But as you can see, all this solo is based on the melodic cells that I showed you, okay, on this 4 melodic cells. And then I've added a few other things, maybe one little passing tone here and there, but that's pretty much what it is. So let's go, let's check out the tune, and I'm gonna play it, and you're gonna hear exactly, pay attention now, it's a ballad, so really pay attention to exactly everything that I'm doing and try to identify the melodic cells. Okay, of course you're gonna see them transposed all over the place, so I'm gonna leave the melodic cells here, and I'm gonna play the entire tune so that you hear how I build the solo. Let's go. right, I hope you enjoyed that solo. Now, keep in mind, that was all based on those few melodic cells that I showed you at the beginning. But once you look at the solo, you need to be aware of making it musical, you know, like how to balance. Okay, you see there's a balance in quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, triplets, rhythm, like rhythmic language. I always talk about that. Now, when you're in a ballad, you don't need to go to, you know, play rhythms that are too sophisticated, but you need a good balance of resting and stop playing. So a lot of things, when you are working on melodic cells and patterns, you want to play them all the time over, like everywhere. In fact, when I wrote this solo, I ended up writing too many notes. I always do this, even right now. Every time I write a solo and I play it, it's like, yeah, it's like too much. Let's take away notes. And that's even better, because now what happens is that the notes that actually remain are really precise and specific based on your melodic cells, so you know they're going to sound beautiful. And then you take away the unnecessary mumbling, right? So that's what I love about writing a solo like this. It's exactly what it needs to be. And then you can, of course, add, remove, you know, you can do versions of the solo. The more you do this, the better. So I've left a link so that you can download this PDF for free. So go to the link below if you want to use this as a template. I'm including the melodic cells and the full solo that you just heard in B flat, E flat, and concert. So you can check it out. And I would love for you to do this. Try it out with any tune. And please make sure to watch some of my other videos. I have one where I'm showing you how you can grab just first inversion, and it's way more simple, and how you can put it over an entire tune just to start getting comfortable with the tune and getting some melodic ideas. I have another one where I show you how to use the rhythm of the melody. And then the one I did last week was about building your own phrases and just grabbing one phrase and trying to put that phrase over the entire tune. It's really amazing. So those are great things that you can do to start boosting your musicality and confidence. Now, keep in mind that this is just the surface of so many things that you can do in order to practice and enhance your musicality. So if you like this video, please make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and I want to personally invite you to check out my jazz improvisation mastery system. This is my full online course where I show you my step-by-step framework on how you can start gaining musicality and start practicing in a much more effective way in order not to only train your technique and musical language, but to train your ears and really become a great musician. So if you like the videos that I post on YouTube, this is just the surface of what you will encounter on my step-by-step system, which I constantly update. And the great thing is we're now hosting it on School, so you'll be able to access an amazing community that is growing literally every day, where I do live coaching calls, where I constantly do posts and update the material. So you'll be joining an amazing community and you won't have to do this alone. So if you're tired of sounding the same and of spending years watching hundreds of YouTube videos and trying to apply little things to your playing, but you're not seeing the progress, then I really, truly encourage you to check out my Jazz Improvisation Mastery system, join our circle, join our community, and let me help you take your playing to the next level. I've left a link with a very special offer for you down below in the description. Stay tuned for my next videos. I post a tutorial like this every single Tuesday, so please help me out and leave in the comments what kind of things would you like to see next. I upload tutorials from improvisation, composition, arranging, how to play over tunes, and about everything. My whole method is about simplicity and just sticking with a few things at a time to boost the maximum amount of musicality out of anything you do. So make sure to subscribe to my channel and leave in the comments what kind of content would you like to see next. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.